Hey guys, so I thought we would come back for aisle 2 of Hobby Lobby. I did get Damon out on this glorious, glorious cloudy day to come back and do the second aisle for everybody. We're going to try to go through as quick as we can, but here is the second aisle. Just as equally full as the first. I think this aisle is mostly, there's baby yarns, there are cotton yarns, there's some sock yarns, there's some other yarns too, so definitely stay tuned. But let's see, I'm gonna, like I said, try to go through these as quick as possible. These are the Chloe yarns. If you can't have wool, I'm so sorry, but these are so beautiful. And what I'm going to do, instead of like trying to read off everything stat-wise and color name-wise, is I'm going to try to get in the shot the details at some point so that you can screenshot it or just take note of it. And I'm going to try to show off the color names the best that I can. I'm just going to kind of chit-chat about the things and, you know, fill up some space with the vocally anyway, so that while you're browsing, we can just yarn chat about them. But there are so many more colors of, like, shades of this yarn than I thought there was, or at least than there used to be, maybe. But I love all of them, I think. They're gorgeous. They're pretty vivid. Even some of the neutrals are pretty vivid. This one, Golden Sunset, is gorgeous. My friend Amy, if you're watching, hi Amy, sent me a few of these. Oh my God, she made me cry because I wanted them so bad. And she sent me a few to start my collection of them. And I'm still need to buy some more of them because I want to make something like just glorious from them. I do. I think it's like the most beautiful color I've ever seen, I swear. There's also a rainbow one that I'll show you in this video, obviously, in a bit. That's really, really pretty, and I've hoarded up a few of those. In fact, when Hobby Lobby used to have the 50% off one item coupon, I used to make David or Damon go in with me, and we would each use one to get it that week. But they have just some beautiful combinations, like this pink and blue right here. And the spring petals is really pretty too. Actually, like, and I was really loving, there's like 2 different variations of like a blue and green. Maybe 3 different variations. But they're just pretty. Like, every one of them is beautiful. Here's the rainbow one that I was talking about. So pretty. But like I said, there is some wool in this, so for those of you that can't use it, I'm so sorry. Same with this alpaca twist. Now, there is some yarn that I will show you in a little bit that is fairly reminiscent of this. If nothing else, it's even softer. But it is 100% acrylic. This one is not, but the other stuff that I'll show you is. And it's pretty similar, but like I said, it may be even softer. But there's quite a bit of these colors. And there's quite a bit of the other ones when we get to that too. But these are pretty soft too, if I remember correctly. I haven't actually used these. There's quite a bit of the Yarn Bee and the Hobby Lobby special, you know, in-house yarns that I have not used yet, especially the newer ones. Like, I've used a lot of the ones that I've gotten from the clearance sales and things like that maybe they don't have anymore. Like, I had quite a bit of the lollies and I've used those. Things like that. Like, I know you've seen me talk about some of the Stripe It yarns that I've used those, which I actually am not so sure I've seen any Stripe It yarns. I think in this video there's a variation of them, but they're not the same one. So maybe they did finally clearance those out too, by the way. But yeah, I've used some that are no longer available. And then some of the newer ones I have used, but quite a few I have not. So when I buy a yarn again, I may start buying up a few different Hobby Lobby yarns and trying them out with you guys. Because I'm sure by that point in time, they'll have even more like new variations. So these stripe hype ones feel a lot like the Stripe It yarns that I've been using in my movie marquee challenges that I had gotten from the clearance sales, except I mean, they're obviously different. They're a little more scarfy-esque with the way they're blended and such. Still not exactly, because scarfy has more solid areas than these do. These are more of the marbled areas, and I think every single there's a nice shot of the floor. Good job, Heather. I think every single color variation of these has gray in it. They're all gray and something. They're pretty. They're very pretty. They feel nice. Again, I believe these had wool in them, so. But Scarfy also does, and the Stripe It also did. So anybody that can't use the wool yarn wouldn't have used the other one either. Same story for the Fireplace Comfort, because I had compared these to the Scarfy yarn in feel. They don't have the solid areas that Scarfy has either, but they definitely have the marling of the colors, and they have more color in them, but they're very nice to work with. I really love working with them. I don't know why I have so much of the floor in these shots, but I guess it does make a nice background to show you the colors of the yarn. I really liked this color. If I remember right, I was puzzled by the name of this one. Yeah, this one is like Mod 12. I would have named this like Dark Sunset or something. And then this one, I have several of these, and I swear I got them on a clearance sale. So like one of my stores clearanced that out, but not this one apparently. I loved this one too. I have a couple of those that I did not bother to get on clearance because I loved it so much. Actually, while I'm doing the voiceover on this, I keep looking over at, I have my Fireplace Comfort are on 2 shelves right near me. And I keep looking over because I could have swore I had this one. There was no nice one of those to show you. Some of these on the shelves were pretty rough looking. This one was beautiful, and I think that's a newer color from when I seen them. That one's just like, I feel like it would crochet up or knit up into like almost like a camouflage. So pretty. I really like that one too. And again, sorry if I'm showing you one that looks kind of ratchet looking. It's probably because there wasn't a much better one to show. Sorry. I did try to pick the better of them. And I think eventually, in the best interest of just showing you the colors but making the video a little shorter, I think I finally just stopped picking them up in general and just started going down the shelves. Damon was quite the helper and turned the labels for me so he could just go down the aisles and make it a little bit speedier for everybody. At one point, you may notice when it starts to speed up a little bit. But yeah. Some of the yarns feel pretty similar. Like the Must Be Merino, I'm trying to recall this from memory because this video has needed to be edited for a few days. And this is another yarn that I haven't used. But it's fairly soft. Like obviously it has wool in it. It's not like I love this yarn soft, but it is fairly soft. It's not scratchy by any means. And there's quite a lot of colors in it. Olive. There's not that big of a difference in their color names for their basic color stuff. You almost always find a mustard. You almost always find an olive or gold. Maybe this one's gold. Nope, that's mustard too. I think I was comparing it to the gold. Yeah. And there's just a second set of olive apparently. But a lot of the names are the same, and as we go down, I think you'll see that at least in some of the different yarns, you'll find, I think there's a lot of different blue teals like that one just was too. But then we move on to some of, like, these yarns are fun to look at. Again, they're like a bigger yarn that I don't necessarily love. They're a little bit reminiscent. So these are the color plays, and they had, I believe it was called a Juliet yarn, I think, from several years back that they clearanced out the whole line of them. And they were a more like neutrally earth tony set of colors than these. But they were like the bigger yarn like this. They were marled like this. They were a little bit fuzzier, in my opinion. Now, I haven't worked with this kind, but they were a little bit fuzzier to work up. Almost like a roving spun together, if that makes sense. But, or maybe it was more like the dream spun. But these are a lot more like bright, vivid, fun colors. Either way. I had quite a bit of the, I do have quite a bit of the, I think it's called Juliet yarn. It's either that or one of the colors is called Juliet, but I think the yarn is called Juliet. My plan for that is I started a big blanket just to like muddle all the colors together because they're already like a mixture of colors. So I want to get back to that one day. But yeah, there's a lot of pretty colors in here. I'm just not a big fan of all the big colors, you know, the big yarns, I mean. Too much. Like, I'll work with them, but... And then this is more like the Boucle section that we're coming upon here. This Lucinda is so soft. And yeah, I see now there's polyamide in it. I guess I saw that day too, but yeah, there's polyamide in it, which is going to make it pretty soft, usually. It's really soft though. Like, if I wanted to work with a bigger yarn that was Boucle, if I needed something like that, I would just go straight to this because it's really nice. I know it looks like homespun. I mean, it is a lot like homespun, I guess, but it's even softer feeling, and it doesn't feel like it'll frizz up as much as homespun, if that makes sense. Like, maybe it will. I haven't worked with it, but it does feel really nice. I didn't get a good look at the recommended hook size, but I would probably recommend a bigger hook with it. Like a pretty big size hook, I mean. And see, they do keep it near. This is Yarn Bee Fireside, but this is a lot like the yarn I was just talking about. I'm having a brain fart. But there's a lot of colors of this also. And there's some really fun colors, like that one down there. Really fun colors. Like, look at that. That just, like, screams 80s to me. Like, 80s or 90s. You could get away with 90s, too, with it, right? I made a lot of mermaid blankets out of the yarn like this. The homespun. Homespun! Thank you. There goes my brain. It's working again. But I believe I had the Fireside yarn also like this in a color or two. And they work up really nice. That color is just gorgeous. So I apologize if you guys can hear Abby in the background. David just woke up, so she always like whines for her daddy when he wakes up. These reminded me a lot of Karen Simply Soft, but thicker. The True Color yarn. Again, it's something I haven't worked with yet. But there was quite a bit of different colors. I bet there'll be a mustard. And there was a lot of different colors. Damon was suggesting I make one of those spiral hats that I was liking to make with the Joy yarn from Walmart with them. Maybe I would. Because I do seem to like that shinier yarn that has a little bit of a fuzz to it when you work it up, like Karen Simply Soft does. And there's a lot of different colors, as you can see. Some of it's a little worse for wear, but can't really help that. All in all, it wasn't too bad considering how much yarn is in the aisles at the store. Like, they do a pretty good job of keeping it under control, honestly. And some really pretty colors. Blue teal. They started naming them months. Like there was a November, here's a September, but not all of them are. I don't know if they were trying to go for like some birthstones for a minute. Kind of odd, I guess, but oh, here's another great shot of the floor. I'm glad the floor was pretty clean. I don't really know what I was doing here. And then the Hue IQ. That's another of the bulkier yarns that reminded me kind of that Juliet yarn. It's pretty similar to the other ones that we were just talking about, like a row over. Like, except for the color, I didn't see a big difference, like feel-wise and stuff from those. There was a swatch of it worked up, and it felt okay. I really like that color. That one's terracotta. Yep. Very pretty. There's some really, really pretty colors, I will say. And then more Boucle yarn. This stuff was really, really like silky soft. Again, it had the feel of like homespun, but like homespun comes in, I think, 2 different weights, and one is more of like, it's like a looser roving spun around. This is that bigger size, I think, feel. It's really like fluffy under your hand, like in your fingers. It feels really nice. It's almost like squeezing a cloud. It feels really nice. If you are okay working with it, with homespun, you would probably really like this. I don't personally have a problem with it. I know I don't work with it a lot just because I prefer other things more, but I don't have a problem working with it. And there are some really nice colors of it. Then we get to the chunky. I do have a blanket started in I Love This Chunky from some colors they had clearanced out a few years ago. So I have worked with this. It's really soft. It is really nice. It does, after you work with it, there's like a little bit of kind of like a fuzz with it too, also. But not in the way that there's no shine to it like with Karen Simply Soft and those kinds of yarns. But like in my opinion, it's a really nice yarn. It's not too thick because, you know, I've said it a couple times, I know, just in this video, but like I don't love the thicker yarns. I don't love working with them, and I don't feel that it is very thick. Like it doesn't have that feel to it. I know it is a thicker yarn, but it doesn't really like hurt my hands or anything to work with it too long. It's not a very stiff yarn. Maybe that helps too. Like it's really soft. So, and there was quite a few colors in this. Like I think this is probably about where I start trying to just go down and show you the colors and like the yarn colors. And then if I see something, I try to spin it and show you the actual color name, because at least in America, I am pretty sure you can order Hobby Lobby online if you want to like go take a look at the website to find the colors if you find anything interesting in here. So I just wanted to like give the best little yarn tour overview that I could for you guys. So the Tender Touch is when I said we would get to a yarn that was similar to the Touch of Alpaca or whatever was down there. That would be this. It's 100% acrylic, but it's really soft, and it has like a little bit of a halo to it, just a little bit of one. And there's quite a few colors of it. It's really soft. I know I already said that, but it is. when I buy more yarn, I want to get some of this. I have not yet. I don't think I have. I want to say there was some in the clearance sale last year or the year before, and I wanted to get some of it, but I think I did end up putting it back just because I am trying not to get a bunch of stuff I don't need. Even at the clearance sales, even when they're really good prices. Like the first year I went admittedly crazy, but I'm trying to do better each year. And just be really choosy. But these are really nice, and honestly, if they're in the clearance sale at all this year again and there's a color I like, I may get a few just to try. There's also Uberlux, which is another thick yarn. See, it's not this yarn, this aisle isn't all cotton and baby yarn. I did promise you there'd be other stuff. This one is pretty thick. It's soft though. Like, definitely the luxe in the name is there for good reason. I think there's pretty much just basic colors in this. I guess there is a kind of a marley looking one there, but for the most part, there's just like some basic colors. The French lilac is pretty. Steel blue, there's a different one. Calming blue. They are getting a little creative with the names. It looks like there is a little bit of a halo, a little bit of a sheen to these. Oh, those have a packet in them. Not the same yarn, my fault. And there's me catching up to Damon. That's when he was starting to be my helper. I like that green down below. It's like kind of Oscar the Grouchy colored. I base a lot of my color preferences off of Muppets, I've realized. See, doesn't that just say Oscar the Grouch? There's a lot of blush named yarns at Hobby Lobby also. I think this is mustard or gold. Mustard! Misty Lake. And then there is a tweedy one called Biscotti. I expected it to be something tweed, but see, if I don't do this video for a few days and then do the voiceover, I surprise even myself a little bit, so. Oh, yes, and then they had some velvet yarn. Ooh, recycled polyester. I didn't catch that when I was filming it. That's actually pretty cool. And I like the name of that, or the color of those right there. They're kind of 70-ish looking colors to me. I like it. Yay in May. Ooh, rosewood's pretty too. Not a big fan of the velvet yarn. I've made a couple things. And then they had the Forever Fleece. I know when we were at Michael's the other day, I showed you guys like the thinner ones that they've been putting out. These are the older model, shall we say, that are the thicker fleece. And then, oh my gosh, they had this Truly Teddy is the name of the yarn. And like the other one, Camel, was the color of that one. But they have obviously got some different colors. And see how thick that is. Oh my gosh, this stuff was just like delightful in your fingers. Like, it's, if you made amigurumi somehow with this yarn, it would be the softest like teddy bear or whatever ever. This down here is a different yarn. I thought it was the same at first. This is simply Sherpa, which is also really soft, but not as soft as that teddy yarn up there. This is a lot like I think there is a Michael's yarn that is similar to this also, and maybe a Bernat yarn that is similar to it. I want to say there's a baby yarn from Bernat that's like this. Is it a sheepy yarn maybe or something? And I didn't do a lot of detail on, this is your basic loop it yarn. These are just the colors that my Hobby Lobby has. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that. And then they had like this big thick yarn and this roving yarn. I mean, I did a close-up on it. It's quite coarse. Like, it's only something I would maybe use for like a basket, or like maybe like a cat mat or something like that. And then they had Bernat blanket yarn in a ton of different colors, like a ton. But again, this was all something that I think a lot of people have already seen. They had this big thick blanket yarn again. I know these were Yarn Bee, but they were also in just basic colors. So I didn't want to take up your time too much. And I knew this video, like at this point, the video was already like 25 minutes long or so. And we had a whole other half of the aisle to go. So I didn't want to spend too much time in the really big, bulky, especially with like the Bernat and the Loop It yarn, when I knew that you guys surely have most likely seen them or something very similar. So they have this, it's just roving. It's just roving, like rolled up into yarn, basically. So do with that as you will. I have seen people crochet with it. I don't know that I would want to myself, but it's neat looking, and I know I like roving yarn, but I don't know if I would buy that to work with. And it's pretty thick too, is the thing also, right? So maybe if I could spin it out into some thinner yarn. And here's basically a variegated form of that. And then here's the other side of the aisle. This is the ice cream yarn from Lion Brand, which I also didn't spend a lot of time on, just because it's a familiar product. You can see the colors, obviously, from here. You could look up the Lion Brand yarn on the website if you wanted to, and most people are a little more familiar with that, so I didn't spend a lot of time on it. This is the baby section, if you couldn't tell by the I think it says Baby Bee on these labels, actually. So they have like a baby version of the velvet yarn in some pretty bright colors. And there's one that it's like a green one coming up. I said for some reason it reminded me of it's right there, it's down below. It reminds me of like tarantula legs, like the coloring of it does. Or like the way it's colored, not the actual coloring, because I know a tarantula is not green. I don't know why it does, but every time we go to Hobby Lobby, right there, like, I don't know why, but it just reminds me, if they were like spindly little legs, it would just remind me of a tarantula for some reason. I don't know why. It's not going to be the yarn for me, I can tell you that. And then there's the Sweet Delight, which I have used the Sweet Delight yarn. For those of you who saw my Moroccan Nights yarn review, and I used them all the strips that I made, I connected them to make a blanket. That's actually still an ongoing project because of this yarn. I wanted to find a black yarn to connect them all with, and they have a black Sweet Delights yarn, and it's a 3-weight yarn, so it was light enough to go to mix with this. But let me just say, I don't know if it's just my experience with this yarn. I don't know if it's just the black color because of the way it's dyed. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have had the same experience for those of you who've used it. I don't know if I just got a bad batch of it, but it's very static, electricity prone. Very. Like, some yarn is, but this is the most extreme static electricity prone yarn I have ever dealt with. It's hard for me to work with because of it, and I have not found it a joy to deal with. If I hadn't put so much into the project already with it, I probably would take it out and find a different yarn. There's actually a different Hobby Lobby yarn that I had looked at in our video last week that I actually bought one of them that I said was like the Caron Simply Soft, and it's called a 4-weight yarn, but it's basically a 3-weight yarn. Had I realized that yarn was there then, I probably would have bought that instead and used that. But now I've put so much work into that blanket that eventually I'll finish it with the Sweet Delight yarn. But me personally, I'm not a fan of this yarn just because of the static electricity or the static cling or whatever effect of it. And it may just be me, it may just be that particular, but it's not a problem I have with my other yarns, so it isn't just a problem from like me and my house or me and my surroundings. It's literally just that yarn. But yeah, do with that information as you will. I know between that and my tarantula comparison, I haven't been doing Hobby Lobby baby yarns any favors right now, but they're pretty. I do like the fact that they have a baby camo one. I think that's pretty cute and pretty funny. And I do like a lot of the colors, especially of the prints, and I like the pomp ones that have the bit of shimmer ribbon kind of running through it. I think that's really pretty. I do really like that teddy bear cuddles color. That's very pretty too. So, and I think I want to say that rainbow one that I just showed you had, one of my stores also had that, I think, on clearance. And I think I have a couple of those. If not, it was pretty similar. And I had not worked with it before I got the black for that blanket, or I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But again, maybe I'll work with it and maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it was just literally that black yarn that I got. So this is the Soft and Sleek Baby, and it is an anti-pilling yarn, I believe, also. Like the anti-pilling from the other, except this is a baby version of it. So it's got some softer colors, some different colors, some speckled yarn, some marled yarn, and they're really pretty. They're very soft. I really like the anti-pilling Soft and Sleek that they have. The Stork Struck, if I remember right, was not, and I had just touched the other ones, so I mean, maybe not a fair comparison, but it wasn't as soft. I did not love that in comparison to the others. It's not horrible. It's not scratchy or anything. Like it would be fine. But if I were to choose between the two, I would definitely have chosen the anti-pilling. This Lots of Dots seems to be, I have not worked with it, but seems to be just a baby variation of the Like I Love This Chunky yarn. I might be wrong, but it seems to be. Which that works up really soft, like I said, and it's pretty nice to work with. And these colors are fun colors. They did have some Premier Bloom Chunky, which again, I don't think I spent a lot of time going over the colors too much because Premier is a well-known yarn, and it's something that can be looked up. It's not specific to Hobby Lobby. So this was more of the baby, the chunkier baby yarn. That's a pretty color. Such a pretty color. Okay, and then they had Sweet Delight Chunky, which I have not worked with that. Maybe that's not as staticky. I don't really know. But they have some really pretty colors. I really like that one, actually. Which is odd for me, like a bright pink with gray. And then this was more of this really thick blankety yarn, but they had like a whole row of it in different colors. The rainbowy one's pretty fun. But it's like this really thick chenille kind of yarn. And then they had, I believe we're moving into, yes, our cotton yarn. The Pima Suprema. Oh, that one's fern. I was just going to say, bet it's olive. And marmalade. The fundamental cotton, I believe, was the one I was not really a fan of. It's just, it's kitchen cottony. It's not my favorite by any means. But there is a worse one that I will show you. Like I said, that one is just really basic stuff. And then Cotton Decay is kind of, you can see the ripple in it. It's kind of like the Karen Ripple Cakes, like in design. It's pretty soft. I like it. I have like zero need for cotton, so like I don't see myself buying it anytime soon unless somebody really wanted me to try it out. Or I needed it for some project. This stuff, I would never recommend. It is awful. I can see why there's a ton of it. I can't imagine anybody buying it. I would buy pretty much any cotton before I bought any of that stuff. It's rough. It's terrible. No. Moving on to something more delightful. This is the Sugar Wheel cotton. It does come in sparkly versions. And there is the information on those because there is some metallic in those. Those are really pretty. So pretty. And then the others are just, yeah, the 100% cotton. So there is some real pretty variations, or variegated. There's some really pretty colors. Let's go with that. In the plain and the glittery. And they're just kind of mixed in. There's some glittery mixed in with the regular everywhere. So you'll see a little bit here and there. Oh, I really like that one. And some of these were a mess. We did our best to kind of straighten them out. That's very pretty. I like that one too. I go from like rainbow to neutrals, so like you never know what I'm gonna like when I go to the store. I have a couple of those that I'm dying to make like something for my table with. And then, yeah, the Fresh Haven. Which I think, if I remember right, like it's pretty soft. It's the, if I'm pronouncing it right, it's 100% lyocell, which I don't know a lot about. but I'm sure you guys do. But there's quite a few colors of that. Oh, look, mustard. Oh, and then Sugar Wheel also has solid colors. And there was several colors to choose from in that, as you can see. Or are about to see, I should say. I really like that blue, the deeper blue. Very pretty. Oh, mustard seed. There's several shades of each different color too, which is nice. I had to go back and compare because those are two different blues, but I thought they were the same. So there's quite a few different colors for the solids to mix in if you wanted to, or not mix them in if you just wanted the solids. See, some of them are worse for wear. It's a really pretty purple. And then we're moving into the I Love This Cotton, which has some metallic in it. Some of them do, I should say. And then some of them are plain. So there's the plain version, which is the 100% cotton. These are a lot like the mainstay cotton that I have had before. I should say the mainstay cotton is a lot like these because these were around first. And there are a lot more color choices in I Love This Cotton than there currently are in the Walmart mainstay. But if you're wondering, like if you've had the mainstay and you haven't had this, they are similar. That red variegated is so pretty. I really like that one. There's, as you can see, just a ton of color choices you could mix and match or whatever your heart desired, really. Because I have like no need for cotton in the foreseeable future, I don't have a lot of this. I have used it though, and it's nice to work with, especially like as far as cotton goes. I've made face towels and washcloths, like face washcloths. That's what I use that for, mostly, I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, but it is a really nice cotton. So many different colors of it. I've used that color. Actually, David got me that blue green color before. That's what I made my face towels out of. Very pretty. I always catch my reflection at random. There's your basic colors, and they keep them so well stocked. Like there's like 2 or 3 just rows of white, and then there's like a glittery white. I don't think I saw the glittery black, which I really like also. And I always mean to grab a couple of those, even though I don't need them, just because they're glittery black. But I didn't see any this time. I've like even been looking in the video and I've either blinked and missed it or didn't see them. But so here is cotton and viscose from Bamboo. Bambootiful. And I believe these are just in basic colors. But these were pretty soft, if I am remembering correctly. So I think even Damon commented on these. But yeah, there's quite a few different shades for each one. Feeling chunky. Also some cotton and viscose yarn. Hobby Lobby definitely has you for all your cottony needs, for sure. So I feel so bad for all my Canadian friends and overseas friends who want so bad to be able to go, but hopefully this gives you some ideas so you can put together a plan if you visit or um, get one of your American friends to go shopping for you, or if you just want to live vicariously and, peruse the aisles. I have perused for you for sure. Walmart also had a yarn that was similar to this Cotton XXL. It may have been called Cotton XXL. I can't remember for sure, but I definitely remember I bought a couple of them. I think I gave it to my friend though. Also not in this many colors choices, and then we're moving on to the Arabella. I loved having some of these. I still have, I think, one color of it, which is the brown color that I gotten in a clearance sale. But I had the corally orange color all of them are mixed with white in some way. But I made a kind of just like a shrug, long sleeve shrug thing. So I've made a couple wearables, thank you. That I just winged, like no pattern type thing. I just kind of winged it. And I made it with this stuff, and it turned out really nice. Like, it's warm, but not too warm. I really, really like wearing it. I actually keep it near my desk to kind of just put on over my arms when I'm chilly. I'm actually keeping the brown around to do the same thing or something similar with it because it's really nice for that. And then there is Tweed Indeed. I like the names of some of these. I do like tweed yarn. I almost kind of want to get some of it just to see if the little tweed flecks stay in it, because I do like a tweed yarn as long as the flecks don't like come right out. And then there's Hint of Silk, which is, it feels nice. There is literally just a little bit of silk in it. Or I imagine it would probably be a lot pricier too if there was more than that. And there's not a lot of colors of it, I don't think. I guess there's a few more up here, but it is pretty much just, I think, white up here. I think. Maybe I'm about to be proved wrong. Oh, there is a gray and a black, I guess. Sorry. And this was not the softest. The cotton and linen, if I remember correctly. Ooh, sulfur, not golden. But I imagine if it's something like this goes on clearance, it would probably make a fine like kitchen cottony type thing. And then yeah, Nature's Nook. I really like the moss. That moss was pretty. The russet was pretty too. I know I liked that one. And so I know we're getting towards the end of the aisle because I'm seeing the sock yarn popping up at the bottom of the film. I just want to make sure that I am prepared for that this time and not cutting myself off. But I think a lot of the sock yarns have probably been around, so anybody who's seen a lot of the Hobby Lobby yarns has probably seen these. At least most of them. There's some pretty cool colors. There's one I think Damon's going to show off in a second that didn't have a spot at all. Like, I don't know if they had tried to clearance it at one point and didn't make it to clearance, or if I don't know, but it just didn't have a spot. He's like, I don't know what to do with this, so he just held it up. So you'll see that in just a second. Right there. But he wanted to make sure you guys saw it. And then again, they had some Premier yarn that's also cotton collage. but it's a sock yarn. And then they had the Crochet sock yarn, which I think most people that have sock yarn, that are familiar with sock yarns, are probably familiar with the Patons Crochet socks. I really like the 50s socks and mid-century stripes, and I loved this 70s stripes. Like, I loved it so much. If I had a need for sock yarn, that would have went home with me. But yeah, so they had the natural yarn, and that would be good for dyeing, probably. Soft and sleek, chunky. They had a few colors of that. It's very soft. But hopefully you guys had a good time with our second run of yarn. This was the second aisle, like I said, and I promised I would get it out. And Damon did a great job as my helper and helped me expedite this aisle so we could get it done a little bit quicker and show off all the colors and the names and the information and such. So hopefully it was a help. If there's anything you guys really want to see in detail, you can let me know. But otherwise, just know, I hope by now, that I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate the older subscribers and the newer ones. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to end this video because I am running out of time. There's Damon. All right. I love you guys, and we will talk to you later. Bye.